Time to go inside the quarterback room with T-Bone and Tyvis.
And joining us on the inaugural episode of the quarterback room, he is 12-gauge himself, former Buckeye national champion, Cardale Jones. Cardale, thanks for taking the time today.
Oh, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for Tyvis for bugging you to get up early. We appreciate it.
Did you brush your teeth is the question.
Listen, guys, this ain't early. I got to find my note at the house. So this is kind of 4 hours already into my day type of day right now.
Perfect. So this guy drives your Tesla. We've heard a lot about that. He apparently eats in the Tesla, I'm told. Do you ever find remnants of his burritos in the floorboards of your nice car?
You know what? Tyvis does a really good job of taking care of it like it's his. So I can't say he haven't had me any bad experiences as he returns it, occasionally. So, if he was, he'd be walking.
Thank you. I am so glad that you cleared that up because people they find it impossible. You can eat a burrito while driving, correct?
I mean, that's what I usually do. My go-to spot is Chipotle. So when I'm on the road traveling back and forth to Cleveland to Columbus or vice versa, I want Chipotle. I'm just going with a burrito instead of a bowl. So we're in the same boat.
Thank you.
I'm impressed. I don't know how you guys do it. I was also impressed, obviously, with your career at Ohio State. Coming back from a national championship, you won a national championship as a quarterback. Obviously, Will Howard is not on campus anymore, but you probably know what a lot of these guys are going through where they won the championship and then had to go defend it. How was that offseason for you after you already had accomplished the thing to try to run it back? How did that feel going into that offseason versus maybe previous years?
For me personally, it was completely different because, one, you have the ability to play at a high level and something I never experienced until that, seeing what it was like being really an Ohio State quarterback on top of winning a national championship all in one offseason. So it hit me like a whirlwind. And then, two, you got to understand that everyone's gunning for you. Everyone's always gunning for Ohio State. You're going to get everyone's best game. But now to have the ability to say, knock off the national champs, it's just a different type of atmosphere. And I know, you hear things coming out the Woody from guys like Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and other top athletes on the roster basically saying, they snap back into, hey, let's go win another one very fast. And basically said this team now hasn't done anything because it's a completely different team than the team they just had the previous year after winning a national championship.
So you've been in quarterback battles twice. You would, right after Braxton went down, it kind of pivoted to you and JT. And then obviously after winning the national championship again, it was you and JT. When you talk about being in a quarterback battle, what's the most important thing that these guys should focus on between, Julian, Sayin, and Lincoln Kienholz?
I think the biggest thing is really taking advantage of each and every opportunity. Both guys are more than capable enough of leading this team to a lot of wins and putting themselves in great position to ultimately do the things they potentially want to do at the next level. But I think really it's compartmentalizing, right? Focusing on each and every day. It was days I went over to the Woody and watched spring practice, and, Lincoln looked really good. And, look better than Julian and vice versa. But I think the biggest thing I've saw from both of those guys, that they want it to be perfect. And you're never going to be perfect. And you feel that pressure on yourself to be perfect because you know what's riding on the line. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give both of those guys, to take advantage of each and every rep they get. Even if it's a run play, even if it's something where, you just not as active in the play, if it's just, an easy read. Really maximizing that opportunity and making sure you prepare for every scenario within that opportunity.
The quarterback room, Cardale Jones joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline. How hard is it to focus when you've got a job to do? You have an offense to learn. You've got chemistry you have to develop with your receivers, everybody there. You have to be a leader on the team. And also, the coaches, they're watching every rep anyway. But I know Urban used to call it life in the big city. There's competition. How did that competition feel, though, for you when rep to rep, as you throw one and it doesn't go where you want it to? Is there a look over the shoulder? Does that stay with you? How did you personally deal with that?
Yeah, I think so. Our situation was a little bit differently because I believe the battle carried out not just through the offseason but the season as well. And, I was in a unique situation where, You got to call a spade a spade. I was never really Urban's guy. He did not recruit me. He did not build that chemistry with me through that process. And, he brought a guy in his second year that he saw was going to be the future and going to set the tone for his tenure at Ohio State with JT Barrett, in which it ultimately did. So I always was looking over my shoulder. I think the best way to go about a quarterback competition is maximizing the time these guys have in spring ball and camp. I'm looking at all the small intangibles and looking at what guys can really rally their troops to ultimately get ready for the season. And then when the season starts, go with a guy. Make that quarterback feel comfortable and they just say, hey, we're going to win with you and we're willing to lose with you as well, versus making him look over his shoulder when, maybe he go 3 and out and you already got the other guy warming up. Those are things that I dealt with personally, and I know how it affected my play because every time now that I'm back in the game, I'm trying to be perfect. Maybe I'm not taking as many shots because I'm like, hey, I don't know when I'll be back out here. So that'll be my best piece of advice, not just for the quarterbacks, but the coaching staff going through the situation. And Ryan Day has done an unbelievable job of really handling quarterback battles. You look back at the C.J. Stroud and Kyle McCord. You look back at the Devin Brown and Kyle. You look back now in this situation as well. I think he's doing a really good job of handling this battle and making sure he's positioning himself and his team to put the best guy out there to help them win games.
How concerned are you about the fact that neither one of these guys really has had reps? How do you, if you were evaluating these guys, how would you know to trust? All right, this is the guy. What is it that you would be looking for as a former quarterback? What would you need to see from these guys to be like, I'm confident that this guy can go out there and get the job done on game day?
I think it's the intangibles without the reps right now and the experience. I think it's just the way that each of these guys develop and process information. I think is the biggest thing. When you're talking about open your season versus Texas, a team that could have easily been in the national championship game, a team that is returning a lot of star power, the biggest question you're going to say, hey, do we start this season off with the guy with the highest ceiling or the lowest floor? Because you're going to find yourself in situations, no matter which quarterback it is, that they're just that experience is going to show, or the lack of experience is going to show. So do you ask yourself as a coach, do I want to go with a guy that is a little more experienced and been in these situations a little bit more? I know Lincoln was thrown into the Cotton Bowl a few years back, and he didn't have his best experience, his performance, but I guarantee that experience has shaped his mindset about going about how things he's going about. And then clearly Julian Sayin coming out of high school with all the accolades he did and being, I think, the number one quarterback in his class and the potential he's been showing through the few glimpses that we've seen through him. They got a tough decision to make. But I think if I'm in that situation, I'm going with a guy who's been the most consistent from spring ball all the way through fall camp.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you, because, I was working on the air. We talked about your team, Tyvis's team, when you guys played. And you can go back and look at tweets I had about Tyvis where I thought he took bad routes, trying to get bad angles at different tackles. And it's been fun to have those brought back up. But one thing I remember very vividly, that offseason after you guys won the national championship, where I believe you had a press conference maybe at your high school where we thought, okay, this is the conference where he's going to say, yeah, I'm bouncing the NFL. Who could blame you? You had the awesome run. And then we spent like half the show talking about, so anyway, once Cardale's gone, I guess this is the plan at quarterback. And then you came out and said, I'm running it back. What went into your mind as you were heading into that decision-making process where you decided, yeah, let's come back and do this one more time?
I think it was a lot of things. One, the lack of time to really evaluate the opportunity in time. People think that, opportunity goes to the NFL, let's just jump on that right then and there. I think the biggest thing was positioning for myself to be ready for that mentally. I don't think I was ready to play at the National Football League. And then, two, I think the biggest thing outside of all of that was I worked so hard on my academics at that time of my career where when I left Ohio State, I want to be done with school. I didn't want to spend off season after off season coming back and taking a class or two and dragging it out. And then, three, just the simple fact of wanted to do something again with my teammates. We had a team that was returning for a 2015 season that could have easily ran the table. Clearly, different things have stopped us from doing those when it comes to lack of performance. I think we slipped up versus Michigan State that year. But those are the things I really took in consideration. I think I really never had time to really consider all of my options. And looking back and, not really thinking too much of the decision I make, I still believe I made the right decision. Going into a situation, potentially being drafted maybe first or second round to a team that, I probably needed a quarterback, needed them to play right then and there. And usually if a team needs a quarterback, needs them to play early, you got a lot of other missing pieces. So probably getting bent up a lot and hurt a lot in the NFL at that point in my career as well. So it was a few things that really it wasn't many things that was pointing to just go other than potentially being drafted higher than the following year.
All I heard out of that was that you said you decided to play school. That's you said that school was a major factor in that. Do you ever regret your tweet?
No, of course not. Not at all. Not. And then I think, it's so funny how as we continue to get, 10, 12, 13 years away from that tweet, how more Jesus Christ, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Relevant.
How more prevalent. Exactly. There we go. See, that's why I use my roommate. How more relevant that tweet is when you look at NIL, you look at transfer portal, and you look at all these different things that, these student athletes are dealing with that has nothing to do with school. So I still believe in the education. I still believe in the education system of not just at Ohio State, but in our country, because it is important. But when you really talk about major college athletics, the athletic part does come first most of the time.
Well, I see that the Cardale Jones charity softball game for this year, that is out at Huntington Park, July 19th, 4 p.m., just a week from this Saturday.
Need to guarantee victory, Cardale.
Well,
I'm trying.
It's been a while since we've been on the winning side.
2 years.
You got a squad, though. I see DeVere's on your team. You've got Zach Boren. Maurice Claret is there. And then I see Lincoln Kienholz is on your team. So, maybe we'll get some insights there when you talk to him. Maybe find out a little bit how that quarterback battle is going. Isn't he like a 3-sport All-American or something like that in high school?
Like it.
He should be hitting some home runs for you.
Well, I don't know if you guys came out last year, but I remember. But I called that run the Triple Crown. His team won. He won a home run derby, and he won the MVP.
Yeah,
he's amazing on the baseball field. Outside of that, but I think he was a 3-star All-American. 3-sport All-American with football, basketball, and baseball out of high school. But the kid can do everything. He can golf. He can do everything. So I'm excited to have him on our team this year, and I'm looking forward to kind of chopping up a little bit with him and just. I'm not going to ask too many intrusive questions when we talk about the quarterback battle, because I know how I was when I was in that situation. People ask me those questions. So,
right.
But to Lincoln, Julian, St. Clair, all the guys in that quarterback room, Coach Billy, they know they have my undyingly support on them, and anything I can do to help support their journey and their mission to be the best quarterback or the best quarterback coach or whatever the case may be, they know they have my support.
It's the quarterback room. Cardale Jones, we appreciate you taking the time, all right?
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. Thanks for calling in.